my name is Wale Adeyemo. Before we start the presentation, I would like to meet two people, one female and one male. So you tell us your name and what you do. So anybody volunteer, anybody? Data analyst. So if you okay, two female, nice, good. Data analyst. So what's the name? Additional. Similar data. So data analyst everywhere. No data engineer. Wow. Data engineer. Good guys. Okay, data scientist. Nice. So I'm the co-founder of Zakra Clinic. So we are a data company. We do everything that has to do with data. So, but more recently, we launched a learning platform, July last year, to just make data education more accessible and affordable to everybody. So, but away from that, I have 6 years experience in data. From helping companies build data strategy, leading end-to-end projects from data collection, data point identification, analytics, making insights, and everything that just has to do around data. So, but more specifically, for personal interest, I'm very keen about sports analytics. It's not that popular, until recently I found it, and it's very, very, very interesting. So the title for this talk is Contextual Thinking and Storytelling for Data Professionals. Contextual Thinking and Storytelling for Data Professionals. Now, in storytelling, the most important thing is context. If you're working in the data industry as anything, analyst, engineer, scientist, data manager, data whatever, believe me, you are a storyteller, you just might not know it. Next slide. Do you know this guy? Who is he? Prince what? Prince Williams. Is it Prince Williams? Yes. No, who is this? Okay, so this Prince Williams, he heads to the British throne after this current king. So what can you, no. What comes to your mind when you see this picture? What? F word. Do you expect this from a Prince Williams? If you see the full picture, so all these people, there are people in the background, like people are, probably outside to welcome him, and he's giving them, really? Next slide. Is he still giving them fuck you? But did you see both of them? Do you have eye defect? No. You saw it. He actually did like this. And he also did like this. Why? Context, perspective. The angle you're looking at it from, right? So but he did both of them. When you said he did fuck you, you were in line. Because look, I can still see it here. Give your finger, right? Yeah. So but from one angle, the prince, head to British throne, is giving the crowd, wow, headline, CNN, BBC, everywhere. Now, but look at it from another angle. How about now? Is he still giving them fuck you? What is he saying? We don't know. You can't interpret it, right? We'll come back to this. Next slide. Now, who are data professionals? Who are data analysts? Who are data engineers? Who are data scientists? Who are data managers? Who really are you? Is it the guys that know how to use AI, build models, talk about the, all the big KLN and the likes? Who really are we? So for instance, if I ask you who are medical doctors, the people that carry stethoscope and test people? No. Doctors are people that help you to fix your health. It could be a native doctor, it could be that person wearing white. As a data professional, your Python, your whatever, is not really who you are. That is not really what we do, right? The basic and the primary things that data professionals do is this: decision support systems. The companies that want to hire us, the companies that are paying us, why do they need us? Not because they want somebody installing Python or Anaconda or whatever on their system. They are hiring you, or they will hire you. Why? They want to make decisions. Simple. So anytime you hear data professionals, think about them as decision support system. Now your ability to do this is what really makes you stand out as a data professional. We will still come back to it. You can also consider them as nucleus to the organization. Every organization make decisions. You might be working in a fintech company and you think what to do is probably you are processing money or you are giving loan. No. You are making decisions as per who should we give our loan to that won't default, right? If you're working in an automobile company, you're actually creating cars, but you are thinking what brand of car, what feature should we put that will make people buy us? You're working with an Apple, what version should we introduce? They launched iOS 16 more recently, and the hype and everything was, out there. But what's really special about iOS 16? Multiple wallpaper. They found that out from data, and their sales went up because they gave you a new version that allows you to have 3 wallpaper and some basic UI UX changes. Sales went up massively. How do they know? Data. Who helped them with those data? The decision support system. Who are they? The data professionals. Now, who are they again? They are storytellers from data. You are a data analyst, data whatever, you are a storyteller. Now, but here's the thing. Beyond your analytics, beyond the Python, beyond the BI, beyond your Spotfire, all the gym things that we used to, feel ourselves in the industry. What exactly matters? Please, insights. We need more insights. There are a lot of data out there, believe me. We need much more insights. Why? Depending on the problem you're trying to solve. Now, why do we need insights? Because we want to make decisions. The reason everybody can claim to be data in it is just because decision making, period. Now, we need to make decisions, but we now need to back up those decisions with data. Now, here's the thing. I'm a very loyal Apple fan, and I know sometimes when Apple released iPhone 5, more than 3,000 people killed, slept over inside the snow at their office. Do you think Apple will just produce 2 million copies of iPhone without being sure that people will buy it? How about vehicles that are capital intensive? How about a Boeing jet, private jet that very few people can afford? So companies want to make decisions, right? But those decisions are either too costly, too risky, and they need to anchor those decisions on something. A very critical decision we've all experienced recently is COVID, the vaccine they are giving us. Now, these are vaccines that before they can roll them out to the public, it must have at least 99.99 or 95 confidence interval that this is not going to kill somebody. So we needed vaccine. People were dying, but they can't because of that just push anything out. No, they needed to anchor whatever vaccine, Moderna or whatever, on something, data. Now, this is how important data professionals are. So they say some people save the world, engineers do this, engineers do that. I think data professionals save the world. In the engineering field, in healthcare, in agriculture, in finance, in everywhere. So long we are living, we need data professionals. So clap for yourself, you're very important. No, but there's a problem. We know they need us. We know how important we are. We know, this and this and this. Yeah. Data professionals often mislead their audience, even though their analytics, their tools, their processes are very correct. And when I say your audience, I don't just mean the public. If you're working with maybe an automobile company, you can mislead your company. You must have heard about cases where Toyota will tell you they recall 3,000 models of a particular car due to defects. They can tell you Boeing 737 is an example. 737 MAX has been crashing. So they have to recall it and stop operation, and it's costing them over $10 billion. Why? Something went wrong during testing. Somebody didn't advise them well. Somebody gave them, this approval rating is enough to go to the market. And they made a very wrong decision that is almost costing them their companies. But most importantly, more than 500 people have died because of that wrong advice, in quotes. Now, data professionals also struggle to make things simple and drive home their point. There's a way I will make this presentation very technical. I will tell you all the very heavy things, and you all look at, oh wow, can I ever even get into the field? But there's a bigger problem. Your main clients, the companies that want to advise you, or that want to employ you rather, a lot of time you'll be working with probably management or people that are not even technical. Decision makers don't know Python, they don't know R, they don't know SQL, they don't know Looker, they don't know whatever, right? Anyhow you want to do it, just give us insight. So, but how do you make this very technical, complex thing? We know you're a wizard, don't worry. So how do you make these things very simple for management or for whoever you're working with to understand? That is another problem. Now, sometimes we also fall into error of generalization. Oh, so many errors of generalization. So many. We can start talking on and on about this. So, but the last thing is that we present findings in black and white. What do I mean? From this data, 50% are male, 50% are female. Are you lying? No. You are saying what the data is saying, black and white. So, but there are some people maybe in your companies that they are a little bit technical. I don't need to hire a data analyst to know this is 50% male, 50% female. What extra are you bringing? Again, we'll come back to it. Next slide. Please look at this. What's wrong with this inference? Now, this is an inference, and the inference is that one tuber, I don't know if they call banana tuber, but I don't know what they call one single banana, so I'm calling it tuber, pardon me. So, one tuber of banana equals to 6 cubes of sugar. Is there anything wrong here? How? I don't know. Is it? What? We could do what? No, it's one. No, this one. No. What? How did I arrive at it? Yes. This. Oh, yeah. Now, I'm trying to tell you some of the errors that I've been on two sides as a data person working for companies, and I've been on the other hand too, agency side, where we get data companies to do stuff for us. So some of these things are very practical from my experience. Next slide. Please just pick these, put these pictures, put them, we'll come back to them. Now, let's say you're given a project. And the project is, I give you a data set, and I say, based on this data set, advise people, right, based on monetary benefits, using a data set on which country they should work. So there's a data set that has country as a variable, and that has salary as a variable. Now, as a data analyst, I just give you that data set that, look, analyze this data, and based on your results, advise X or Y or Bumi or Kemi or whoever that is planning to enter into data. What should Bumi learn? Then at the end of your analysis, you now come up with US pays 145K per year averagely. Switzerland pays 130,000 averagely. Blah blah blah. From this result, it's obvious now. Where should the person go and look for work? US. Why? 145K. It can be wrong, it can be right. We'll find out. Next slide. Now, this is Google, almighty. Now, this is their revenue, 2019, 2020, 2021. So if you have a data set and they say that, look, compute Google's revenue for these 3 years, right? And at the end of your whatever, you come to present to management, in 2019, Google made 162 billion. You are not wrong. 2020, 181 billion. Oh, you're not wrong. Numbers don't lie, Abi? Is that not the slang? Is number lying? No, Google even publish it by themselves anyway. So this is 257 billion in 2021, and management will clap for you, but there will be a very smart guy or a very dumb guy in that meeting. Have you presented people that are dumb before? I have a lot of times, but they are not actually dumb. They just don't know what I know. And when they are speaking their language too, I'm also dumb because I don't understand them, right? But my work is to bridge that gap and make everybody, my audience, move you from being dumb to giving you insights that will make you smart, right? Next slide. Now, another data gives you, about Apple. Tell us Apple's revenue and break it down. 2021, 365 billion, 55% from iPhone, 190 billion from iPhone, blah, 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 blah. At the end of your analysis, you found all of these things. But who here can really tell me how big is 365 billion really? We know it's a lot of money, we know. But how lot is it? Can you even think about, is it going to fill this room? $365 billion? Maybe not. Depends on the note. So, but how big is this 365 billion? How big? Or let's say Apple sold 230 million copies of iPhone. How big? We know it's big, we know. But really, very big, but how big? Now, next slide. Very, very big. This is where contextual thinking comes into the picture. Everybody at one point or another, either you're already working or you're learning or you're doing something, you've probably worked on a project that gives you a result like this. You're not lying. From all the 4 examples I gave, the first example is error due to generalization. One of those examples is error due to inability to make things simple, right? All the errors I mentioned, I have 4 examples for those 4 errors. Now, what's contextual thinking? Contextual thinking is using elements such as events, places, objects, numbers, situations, things that happened to explain a message you're trying to pass to people. Contextual thinking, you're using events, you're using color, you're using number, things people can relate with, things that will drive home the point, things that will catch your audience attention, things that will get them thinking. Until you are thinking and your audience is thinking, you can't unlock insights. Until you're thinking and you get your audience also thinking, none of you can unlock insights. At best, everything I've showed earlier, they are all information. Data, when you process it, it turns to information. So, but information really don't drive organization. The information era has passed. We're in the insight era, and I will give you an example. Nokia used to be a giant in telecommunication. My father, your mom, your uncles, most likely they all use Nokia, right? And they were conquering everywhere, and they were even investing in data collection. They collect a lot of data, they analyzed a lot of data, and Nokia still died. Why? They didn't do anything wrong. They had data, they had information, but they lacked insight. So what was the insight? They didn't get the fact that people were moving from smartphone just being for call and for snake game. People want a smartphone that they could use to snap. I don't want to have a phone and still have a Kodak camera. That is insight. No data will tell you about that. So, but from the data and the information, you can begin to think and put insight. So that's what contextual thinking is all about. Now let's go back to our banana case. Please, everybody pay attention. Do you remember that I showed you a picture where a tuber of banana, please pardon tuber, I don't know what banana is called, where a tuber of banana equals to 6 cubes of sugar. Now let's start thinking. If 1 tuber of banana is equal to 6 cubes, somebody that eats 10 tubers of banana, does it mean that person has consumed 60 cubes of sugar? What? Okay, so if it is what I'm saying, now in data that is what they call error due to black and white. If it's what the data is saying, so therefore, that's what it is. Now the point is, what has analyzed your data is a computer. Now you are human, you start thinking. I buy a bunch of bananas, sometimes I have 20, 16. So if 10 equals to 60 cubes, does it really mean I'm taking like 86 cubes every time I eat a bunch of banana? No, you got to start thinking. Is my data faulty? Is the inference wrong? Instead of reporting this to management, can I advise them that we should probably go back and can I tell them we're doing something wrong? That is one. Does it really make sense that 10 banana is equal to 60 cubes of sugar? It doesn't. But your data has said it. Experts in quotes have said it. Could they be lying? Yes. Could they be saying the truth? Also, yes. Let's keep going. Do you believe it? Your data has said it. No doubt. But you as an analyst, you're not a robot. Do you believe it? Then what should you do? Probe. Now, on the flip side, the inference is a fallacy. The inference we made that 1 banana equals to 6 cubes of sugar. Could it be a fallacy? Most likely. Now, here's where we start thinking. When I asked you guys what was wrong, do you know 1 tuber of banana could actually be equals to 6 cubes of sugar? But do you realize I didn't tell you the size of the banana? So if I tell you that a banana of 50 grams equals to 6 cubes of sugar, when you want to say that statement, you are likely to fall into error of generalization. You are not going to say 1 banana equals to 6 grams. So, but bananas are not of equal sizes. So the inference can be right. But when you put context into it, what's the size of that banana? What species is that banana? Is it a local banana? Is it what they call Igbo banana? You don't know. When you put all of those contexts into it, you begin to have more insight. You won't just take it hook, line, and sinker and say 1 banana equals to what? 6 cubes of sugar. Bananas are not of the same species, they are not of the same size. So that statement might not be a fallacy. Just that the statement was not put into context. Most of the data you'll be working with, they are not in context. And when you are reporting your insights, your findings, your work as a data professional is to put context into your findings and your presentation. Are we together?
Yes.
Cool. Next slide. Okay, so we also talk about the job advice, blah, 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 blah. And everybody agreed that you're going to recommend US as, the country that person should go to. But you still didn't put it into context. I mean, US asks 145K average salary per year. That's what your data is telling you. That's what management asks you to do. You could just do black and white. Data says A, I'm telling you A, right? Simple. So, but I go further. The focus is on monetary benefits. Do you get? I even highlighted it. Monetary benefits. Apart from the data, what other things affect monetary benefits? Inflation, cost of living, right?
Yeah.
Not just the variable salary in your data set. So when you report your findings black and white, you just say since US pays a higher salary, so therefore US. When you put it into context, right? You now begin to think about, okay, US is this. What's the tax rate? Out of my 145K, what really comes to my pocket? What's the cost of living? What is inflation, right? Until you now put all of these parameters and probably now redo your analysis, your ranking might be faulty. It might no longer be US, even though US has 145K. A country like Israel that probably pays 120K might rank higher. A lot of data professionals make this mistake. When you work on projects, when you pick data from Kaggle, from wherever, and you just run analysis and just, no, that's not the right way to go. Or that is not what companies or organizations are looking for. Put it into context. After you put it into context, then answer your question again. Look at it again. Monetary benefits. If it's just based on that figure, is US. But that figure does not work in isolation, right? Countries take tax. Countries have inflation. Countries have cost of living, right? Now, when you put all of those things into context, you are able to unlock a deeper level of insight than a black and white, my data says A, and therefore is A. Next one. Now, I asked how big is Google's revenue? Right? We said it's a lot of money, but what is a lot? Can we begin to put it into context? I want to put it in a context that you will understand. I'm assuming you are management, and this is how I will go about it. So in 2021, Google made 256 billion. So Google made 256 billion. And in the same year, Nigeria made 407 billion, right? I want to bring it home. I want you to understand how big Google's revenue is. And I look for that. That means Google made 63% of what Nigeria made. You still don't understand it. And I go for that and I say that, look, this Google is just 156,500 employees. And Nigeria is 400 million people. So 156,000 people made 63% of what 200 million people made. What does it mean? The total Google workforce is just 0.08% of Nigeria's population. So 0.08% of people made 63% of what 200 million people made. Do you understand how big that money is now? Why? It's the same reporting, it's the same numbers. But I'm putting context. I want you to understand it. I want you to really see that, look, equal. You get? This money is much. I mean, 156,000 people. 200, all the work that me and you, my dad, your mom, your uncle, everybody, all our lecturers, ASU, Buhari, everybody, all the work we did in 2021, this is how much. Then Google that just 156,000 people, less than the population of Ado-Ekiti. This is the money they made. Do you see I'm beginning to put things that you can relate with? You are beginning to unlock insight. It's beginning to make sense to you. You are beginning to be able to support or to act as a decision support system. Now, this is your work as a data professional. The last one. This is Apple. Apple made 365 billion. I mean, for the whole of 2022, Nigeria budget is just 23 billion. What does it mean? It means that in 1 year, Apple made enough money that will serve Nigeria for 15 years. It's the same number, the budget is the same, Apple's revenue is the same, but you didn't know how big that revenue was. Now, making you realize that this is a lot of money. Our budget for 2022 is 23.8 billion. In the same year, Apple made 365 billion, right? What does it mean? Apple alone is making the money that will run Nigerian budget for 15 years. It is that big. Now, they said that Apple sold 230 iPhones in 2021. And you said it's a lot, but is it really a lot? Now, Lagos is 15.5 million people living in Lagos. What does it mean? It means that everybody in Lagos bought 15 iPhones. This is what this number. Do you get? Bring it home. Add context. Let people understand what you're saying. 230 million, well, is a lot, but I don't know how a lot. But I now tell you that, look, 15.5 million people are living in Lagos. So what it means is that everybody in Lagos bought 15 iPhones each. You now begin to say, wow, Oshodi, you know how crowded. You now begin to put it into context that, look, everybody, wow, Apple really made a lot of money. We're rounding up. Next one. I'll give you one more example of contextual thinking. How big is Apple's revenue, or how big is Apple as a company? Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, almighty Tesla of Elon Musk, WhatsApp, Instagram. Join all these people together, right? Their revenue for that year is 181 billion. All these companies, all of them put together, is just about 50% of Apple. How big is Apple?
Very big. Massively big.
So, but you've always seen this number from the beginning of the presentation. But the number didn't really make sense or ring a bell. But when you start to put it